Hey guys, it's Alec Torelli from Conscious Poker. I am out in Zurich and excited to be here for a Precious Metals Summit. It's a space I'm really interested in and been involved in for a while, and a couple of awesome meetings out here with some really cool companies doing some great stuff in the space, so evaluating some of those opportunities.
I had a ton of takeaways from this conference, and I'm working on an article where I'm synthesizing them, and I will be sharing it at alectorelli.com, as well as my favorite bets I'm making in the space. Head over there and subscribe if you want to be notified when it drops.
But of course, there is a poker scene in Zurich. There's actually an awesome casino. It's right in the center. It was built about 15 years ago, and it's right in the center of downtown Zurich. So I'm going to be checking out the poker scene here as well. I will show you around, let you know my thoughts on the city, and hands from the poker game, as well as tips on how to win. So let's go. Zurich is a beautiful city. I was really impressed with the eclectic food scene. I think people might misinterpret it to think it's all typical Swiss German food, and of course there is that, and it is amazing. But I was really impressed with the ethnic health food scene. So there's a lot of vegan, vegetarian, health food restaurants, and of all different genres. So there's the oldest vegetarian restaurant in the world. It literally has the Guinness World Record. It was opened in 1890 something, and it has an Indian hue, like an Indian-esque nature to it, because the wife of the founder, or the second generation founder in the 1930s, went to India to learn cooking. So it's very cool, and that's just one example, but there's a lot of different types of cuisine. There was like a fusion Italian place that made sushi and eclectic pasta, for example, like all mixed in one restaurant. So there's a lot of amazing food scene here. Of course, Zurich is wonderful. It's incredibly efficient. It's well run. It's clean. It's safe. Air quality is great. I mean, it's everything you would expect and more, and it's a beautiful place. We are taking the metro in Zurich, and it is incredibly efficient. They are quiet, they go all around the city, and it's super easy. You just kind of hop on, hop off, grab a ticket. They go everywhere, and it is an amazing system. A lot of bikes, a lot of metro, very few cars, very quiet, very clean. How it should be in a city. Found this amazing quiche, which they're known for. It looks quite incredible. Yeah, some awesome bakeries, pastry shops, eclectic food stores. It's amazing. Okay. Amazing. What did you expect? All right, we did it last minute. A friend of mine was able to put together a 10-10 Swiss franc no limit hold'em game. We might have a $20 straddle, and they told me they play some bounty games where if you win 3 hands in a row, you win $100 from 100 francs from every player. So that should be fun. Really excited to play. It's a group of locals. They're supposed to be really good guys, and the game runs here quite often as well. So I'm gonna go in and check out the action. Excited to battle.
We played some wild hands in the cash game. The first one is during what's called the King's Game, meaning if you win 3 hands in a row, every player pays you a bounty. In this game, it was $100. So you win $800 if you win 3 hands in a row, which in a 10-10 game, even with a straddle, really is a big incentive. So I've already won 2 hands when I get dealt King 6 of hearts. Under the gun limps, under the gun +1 limps. I make it 110. What else am I gonna do? Button calls, small blind calls, big blind calls, the limpers call, and we go multi-way to a Queen 6-5 rainbow flop. It checks to me, I bet 275. and it folds around to the second limper, and he now makes it 1,000. I didn't really feel like he had it, but I also have a really difficult hand to call with, because if he's bluffing, even with something like 7-9, 8-9, or even something like Jack-10, there's a lot of turns that could improve his hand, and it's also really hard for me to call down. I didn't want to get outplayed, and I really thought he just was light, so I ship it in. He snap folds, and I win myself not only the pot, but the Kings game, and I had the right read. This hand was sweet.
Zurich now.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We give you a royal welcome. Let's hope it doesn't last long.
Awesome.
But that was a new one.
Next hand was epic. We are playing a bomb pot where every player antes 75 and then we deal a flop. I have sixes and the flop is gin. King 6-5 with 2 diamonds. I have sixes. It checks to me. I bet 300. The small blind, who is a solid pro with a 5k stack, he makes it 1,200. So he's been very tight and I don't feel like he's bluffing here. And I just think that any draw he has is going to be strong enough to get it in with. Otherwise, he wouldn't have raised. So I think if he has a draw, it's going to be a combo draw or the nut flush draw. Otherwise, he has a made hand like 2 pair. There's a lot of bad turns. I don't want to flat and let something kill our action. Plus, I think he's strong. I ship it in. He's not thrilled, but he does make the call. I'm in great shape when he shows King 5 off, and let's run it twice.
Who's filming? Oh, it's pretty unlucky for you.
Talk about running good. The setup hand for 10k, pretty sweet, at least to be on my side of it, and what a run. All right, before we get to the last hand, if you're into strategy like this and you want to keep improving your game and go deeper, check out the Poker Playbook. It's my free weekly newsletter where I share one powerful poker insight every Friday. It's short, actionable, and designed to help you think deeper and play better. It's what's working right now for me and my clients. You can grab it at consciouspoker.com. Links in the description, consciouspoker.com. It's totally free. See you on Friday. Did play quite a few other hands, but they were smaller, more nuanced, subtle pots. The last interesting hand to note was the hijack opens to 75. The cutoff calls. I have Jack 9 suited on the button. I make it 300. I haven't been 3-betting much, and when I had, I pretty much always had the goods. I don't really love my hand as a call. I just think it plays better as a raise. And the small blind now cold calls. The razor calls and the cutoff folds. So we go 3 ways to the flop. The flop is 8-5-4 with 2 spades. It checks to me. I didn't really want to bet here. I think this flop connects a lot with the calling ranges of the original opener, as well as the small blind, who was very loose, loved to play low card hands. He also cold calls in the small blind. He's has something a lot of the time. He's never going to fold any connectivity to this board. Most importantly, I didn't want to get raised. I'm in a really terrible spot if I bet whatever, an 8, 6, 7, 800, and then I get raised. Am I calling it all in? I kind of have to, but I don't really want to. So I take my free card, turns a 3 of hearts, and the small blind checks. The other player bets 700. I make the call, and now the small blind jams, which is brutal. The player calls, and of course here I have to fold, which really feels bad. I feel like no great options in this hand, but I was relieved when the small blind turned over 5s, so taking my free card would have really helped me if I hit. I think I would have stacked him. The caller had 6-4 of clubs, and somehow peels the 7 on the river when they run it once, and not a spade, so I would have lost, which also feels good. So great session. I ended up winning a lot. This doesn't always happen, but I did run really well. I only got about 4.5 hours-ish in on the session. I had been up very early for the conference, ended up playing till about 1 a.m. So I ended up calling it a day, booked a nice win. It was an amazing time, and let's wrap this up.
I had a great win last night. Of course, it's amazing to run so well, and especially having a serendipitous event to play in a game that comes together so quickly, and it was an awesome experience. Really recommend the poker scene in Zurich. I think it was awesome. It's a quaint casino. It's so cool to have it right in the center of the city. It's extremely accessible. People are very friendly. Staff is nice. It's well run and managed and intimate, easy to get to, very efficient. It's awesome. So definitely, if you're in town, want to play, shoot me a DM at Alec Torelli on X or Instagram. I'll put you in touch with the people here and happy to facilitate that if it helps you. A couple tips for the games here, and I just think this applies to a lot of these style of low mid-stakes games. So I think the most nuanced big takeaway I had is there are a lot of hands where it goes raise, call, call, or limp, 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 and you are the next player to act. And I think these spots are a big opportunity for edge because you have players who have shown weakness and shown strength. The opener showed strength, the other players have shown weakness, and you need a pretty strong strategy here for how to play the types of hands you want to play. So if it goes limp, 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 have a good strategy for what types of hands you're going to be raising with, how big you're going to be raising, and how the players are going to respond who have already limped, as well as how the players behind you are going to react to your raise. And if it goes raise, call, call, what types of hands are the players calling with? Are they strong? Are they weak? And if you re-raise, how are all of those players going to respond? Is the original opener going to think you're weak and 4-bet? Are the original callers very sticky and they're going to call every time you 3-bet? Depending on how they react, that's going to change your strategy dramatically. And so if they play a lot tighter when you re-raise, you're going to be wider. If they play sticky and they call with everything, you're going to need stronger hands that have more showdown value in order to 3-bet. You're also going to need to adjust your post-flop strategy as well. And I think the other thing to consider is a lot of these games have straddles and they have bounty games. So we played the Kings game, which of course, if you win 3 hands in a row, you win a big bounty. This all changes the dynamic, and people play sometimes very tight in these games and other times people play very, very crazy. So observing these nuances is where you're going to get a lot of edge in these local home game style casino games where there are no set rules and there's always a different variation of the poker game. One more tip, especially in context with the last one, is you want to be very mindful of your raise and re-raise sizing, especially when you are in position versus out of position. And you should have a really good idea of the psychological levels that people are willing to call. So for example, in this game, it went something like $50 raise, call, call. If you make it 150 or 200, nobody's going to fold to that size. It's going to go call, call, call. So you know you're going to get 2-3 calls pre-flop. You have to adjust your strategy accordingly. So you want to size to an amount that is more in line with what you want to accomplish. If you want to get no callers, you might go bigger. If you want to get 1 caller, you might go something in the middle, like 300. Of course, this is a little exploitative, so you have to be mindful of being too obvious with your sizings, but you really need to make these adjustments in these games. And especially when you're out of position. People, of course, call more bets when they're in position, so your sizing has to go up, and you have to be tighter when you're out of position with these strategies. So if you want help with this on your poker journey, visit consciouspoker.com. There's courses, coaching, newsletters there to help you on your journey, depending what step you want to take. I'm happy to help connect with some of you guys as well. And if you want to access to the games here, DM me at Alec Torelli. I'm happy to put you in touch with everyone. Subscribe to the channel. More awesome content's coming. And thanks for your guys' support. And I'll see you in the next one.